I have Judge Voegele with me this morning. Again, this is our monthly meeting with Oldham County Judge Executive David Voegele. Good morning, Judge.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Good to see you.
I appreciate you getting up early.
Well, it's that's all right. You know,
At least it's
it's
Friday.
good to get up.
Yeah, at least we're on this side of the dirt as we went
That's
down this
right.
morning.
Like I say.
And we do this conversation once a month now. And I wanted, it's basically designed to give the listeners an update on what's happening around the county. And as we were getting ready to do the break here, you were mentioning to me that there's new police cars coming.
Well, yes, our we have over traditionally, let's say, bought mostly Ford Explorers, trying to support the Ford workers in our community and in the region. But there's a high demand for those Ford Explorers across the country, as there are all police vehicles, really, when you get right down to it. And so we've not been able sometimes to get in the bidding cycle. Sometimes they'll say, well, we're going to open this window in November, and you can expect your car in June.
Right.
You don't get it closely. It hadn't matched our timing. And we have a train going by here right now.
We are the train capital of the world.
CSX has arrived.
Yes, they have. Always during interview time.
But anyway, so last year we bought 4 Chevy Tahoes. Very nice vehicle. We're excited to have it. They're at the location now where they get marked as police units, and they get all our logos and things on them. They'll be back shortly, and we have just recently purchased an additional 4 vehicles for our police fleet, and those are Chevy Silverado pickup trucks.
Okay.
With a short bed, but they do have, they're 4-door vehicles. They can have a cage in the back, or which the police sometimes have to put people that act up,
right,
going to jail or whatever. But we're going to use those out on the interstate, and I've got somebody out there every day watching traffic, trying to slow it down. I mean, it is.
That's one thing about 71. The posted speed limit is 70, but people have a tendency to go about 10 above that. So you're looking at people running 80, and that's
they're really running, and some are running a lot higher. We've had a couple of stings, if you will, out there where our police have gone out in a group. We've had 7, 8 officers out there trying to slow traffic down, and just can't seem to make a good enough impression. And they really weren't stopping anybody doing less than 80 or 85 miles an hour.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people from Ohio that come through here heading somewhere to the south, and what I've been told, and I think there's some truth to it, that Ohio State Police are extremely strict. They'll stop you for a mile over the speed limit. But once these Ohio people get to Kentucky, here we go. Wow, we're on the speedway, and
yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed that too. And it's a 71's one of those kind of interstates where you can easily get up to that speed because it's such a straight shot. But then it's also bruise accidents and things of that nature. So
yeah, our daily accident out there, we just are dreadful of it, but have to deal with it, and we want until the thing gets to be spread out to the 3 lanes in each direction. We want to really try to enforce the law, but we don't have enough officers to sit out there to make a huge dent. But we do show the flag, so to speak, and
so
we're out there, and we do write a lot of tickets out there. But there are just so many speeders that you can't
get them all.
Can't get them all.
Right. And speaking of traffic, of course, we got the new section of Commerce Parkway that's open now on the other side of 393, which makes it real easy there around Buckner. But you mentioned to me too, there's another traffic change coming.
Yes, Fiscal Court has approved creating a new road from Highway 146 to Veterans Parkway in Crestwood. It will be start off, I guess, between Kenwood Elementary and come east and end at 146, sort of adjacent to the Stockyards Bank there. And we expect that people are going to say, well, how are you going to turn left there? They'll most likely wind up a traffic signal at that location. But there are so many people backing up in Crestwood in the morning and the latter part of the afternoon that we just needed another outlet. And our predecessors did not create enough roads for a population of 70,000 people. People want to come here, they want to live here, they want to have their kids in our school system. It's a beautiful place to live. A cloudy morning can't ruin a nice environment. And so it's hard when people say, well, stop the building, but we really can't, because if you own a piece of property, maybe your farm, you've worked it all your life, but now it's time to move on, you have the right to get the maximum value out of your piece of property that you can, consistent with good public order. And you just can't tell people that you can't sell your property to someone who wants to make a subdivision. So we do try to control this as much as we can with the limits on how many houses can be built in each subdivision per year, and how many kids we're going to wind up in the school system based on that, but you can't really shut it off.
And that, I guess, would boil down to lost the thought there. Not an ordinance, really, but zoning. Zoning is what I'm trying to talk about.
Right. And that is really managed by the planning department and our planning commission. So it's an important, vital part of our community. But some people want to just throw a barrier down and say no more growth, and it's really impossible to get there. And we don't want to turn it into an indistinguishable part of East Louisville, so to speak. But we're trying to manage our own area and to keep our quality of life high. Years ago, I ran on a campaign slogan that said our quality of life is not for sale. It's still not for sale, but it never will be, I hope. But it just, we do have the progress keeps coming.
And how long before construction might begin on that new project?
Yesterday, the fiscal quarter this week approved the planning for it to begin. Okay. So it could be a year and a half before something happens. Everything has multiple steps to it, and the engineering, acquiring property.
There's many steps.
There's steps, right? In the
Before construction, the ground's even broken.
Yeah, right.
And speaking of
that's the last step.
Yeah, right.
A lot of people, of course, been watching the construction on the courthouse here in downtown LaGrange, and boy, they have really made progress. Now that
The initial footers have all been poured, we can actually see the structure coming together on this.
The footers are poured. The steel has gone up on one side. On the east side, it does have the roof steel in place. You can kind of see where the roof structure is going to be. That hasn't gotten to the other side yet, but it's coming. All the elevator shafts are in. This week, the project development board met and approved different finishes for the interior of the old building and the new building. Flooring, lighting, carpeting, paint,
all the final stuff.
even down to the color of the partition in the bathrooms.
So it's coming together now.
Right. Well, right. All these things have to be ordered in advance to actually be delivered in time.
And we've all seen how recently where those tanker ships were all just stacked up with all that stuff, and a lot of stuff is coming into the United States on ships.
Right.
And it depends on what kind of materials you need to order, how long it might take to actually arrive.
That's exactly right. There's going to be there's a lot of wood in it. It'll be natural walnut. It'll be the color of the wood, and it won't be varnished. The natural walnut, as it ages, will get a little bit darker and darker.
Right. That's going to be beautiful.
So we think it's going to be a beautiful situation, and we've approved the lighting. The interior older building will have a number of historic appearing lights in it. We go back to the last century, they probably had gas lamps, and obviously didn't have electricity.
Yeah.
They're burning candles at one time or another there way back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
So, but we're trying to create a historical ambiance that probably really wasn't even there in our whole courthouse.
It's looking,
but it's going to look better than it ever did.
Right, and I noticed they, for a while there, I was looking at, and I guess certain bricks may have come loose when they moved it. I could see where they were putting the actual bricks back into spots the other day. And it's filled in a lot of, I was like, where are all these holes from? And then I saw that they filled them all in.
Right. We hired a company from Ohio specifically for that work, the historical creators and the bricks that to be right. So, and soon we'll be ordering the another set of bricks to go on the new building, that it won't be exactly the same color as the old building, because you can't go back and get exactly the same color. But I think the board is going to pick out one that looks very nice, and it'll meet at the corner of the old building and new building. And the transition, I believe, will be attractive.
It's going to be great. Well, thank you so much again for coming in.
It's my pleasure. Now, my future is a little bit shaky here as far as may have to have subs or whatever. I have some medical issues to attend to. And
I hope everything's okay.
Right. Well, I'm limping around, so I'm going to get that fixed.
Well, Mayor John Black just had his knee replacement, and he's finally starting to get out and about.
Yes, right. And he tried to scare me as much as he could.
I bet he did.
He was no salesman for it the first 3 weeks, I guarantee you that.
Well, yeah, I know that.
But it's better now.
Well, good luck to you, and we look forward to talking to you when you can come back. And in the meantime, your next in hand, Kevin Nuss, he's welcome to come in.
We
Enjoy.
have a long list of good directors that can certainly come in and share their information.